two that day because I bought one for me and one for you. And yeah.
And I got the Godfather's autograph too.
Same. That was at Access, right?
Yeah, him and Ron Simmons, and I got a picture of all three of us throwing up the fist. And I look, I'm like, I still got like a sore thumb there. It was just bad.
I like, by the way, side note, that we got that for free essentially at Access, and then we saw him for $20, charging $20 the next day at WrestleCon. I was like, wow,
yes.
You're paying and we got it for free. That was cool. And
he would either sign a picture of him as the Godfather or a picture of him as Papa Shango. That was the funniest part of all of it. Up next, man, it's the second to last match of the night. John Cena defending the WWE title in a triple threat against Chris Jericho and Christian. Christian has Tyson Tomko in his corner. This match got...
a problem solver.
Yes. This match got a pretty good amount of time, 15 minutes, 19 seconds. A couple of minutes into the match, however, Tyson Tomko gets ejected after taking out Jericho and Cena. He eventually pops back up and spears Cena behind the referee's back, but it only leads to a near fall. In the end, Cena gets Christian in a fireman's carry, swings him around so that his feet knock Jericho out, and then Cena hits not the AA, the FU on Christian, and he gets the win to retain the WWE title. Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 stars. I gave it 3 stars. What say you?
I was on the fence between 3 and 4. I think I went more towards 4 because I just thought it was so good.
It was a really good triple threat match. I love all 3 of these guys. I'm a huge Christian mark. I got an autograph and a picture with him from WrestleCon 2018. I
think I still have that picture in my phone, by the way.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, by the way, like TJ is the biggest Christian mark, and I swear he looked like a kid in a candy store meeting Christian. I mean that in a good way. Good Lord, man, you were marking hard, which nothing wrong with that, but
he's to me what Edge is to you.
Yeah, right.
So, and
the telling fact, real quick, is the line was huge to me, Christian, and TJ got right in the back of that line, just stood there and.
Hell yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember, by the way, but once you got to the front, or close to the front, I went and bought a ticket. I'm like, oh, I'll be with you. So I got one too.
Yep, might as well. And Christian, I don't know, man. Christian's a cool dude. He was my favorite in TNA for years. That was my favorite era of him. I did tell him, I was like, man, I loved, your run in TNA. And he was just like, oh, yeah.
He was more intrigued that we love this podcast, but
yeah, he's great. Like I said, big fan of his. I'm huge mark for Jericho as well. I hope I get to meet him someday. So
it's crazy to me when watching this back. By the way, I'm like, they're both on their way out. Like,
yeah,
within a couple of months they'd both be gone.
Yeah. Christian was about to hit TNA. Yeah, it was. And by the way, side note, right before we move on to the main event, what do you think of Christian's theme at the time, the original "Just Close Your Eyes"?
I didn't hate it.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. But then I loved his theme before this, the No Words, and the one he used at WrestleMania 20. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that one was good. I think this is the first when he got this theme. For some reason, it made me take attention. I was like, oh, Christian. Okay, yeah. And I don't know. I loved the theme. I thought it fit him really well. It was unique. And then he used an instrumental of an Evanescence song when he went to TNA.
I still, to this day, think that's his best song ever. But
oh, yeah. That song was great for him. Fit him perfect. But yeah, man, we move on now to the main event of the evening. It's Batista defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Triple H in a Hell in a Cell. Here coming up soon, due to budget cuts in WWE, they're going to have Hate in a Crate. No?
Wait,
nothing?
What the hell are you talking about?
I said due to budget cuts in WWE, no more Hell in a Cell. They're going to have Hate in a Crate.
Wow, right over my head. I thought you were like being literal as something happened in 2005 that I missed.
No.
All right.
Oh, man. But,
Whoosh,
this
right over.
Again, this one got plenty of time. 26 minutes, 58 seconds, just shy of 27 minutes. They used a chain, a barbed wire wrapped chair, a sledgehammer. Triple H and Batista both got busted wide open. Triple H bled like a stuck pig, man. A side note about the blood, he learned from the best with Ric Flair. Do you want to know, Conrad he asked Tony Schiavone, he said, you want to know how Ric Flair bled so good and thinned out his blood? And Schiavone went to the obvious one. He's like, let me guess, aspirin? Because that's what most people do. They take aspirin. He said, nope, coffee, coffee, coffee. All day long, coffee, coffee, coffee. So, and Tony said, well, that would explain why every time I saw him backstage, he had a coffee cup in his hand.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know coffee thinned your blood, but apparently the caffeine thins your blood.
Good grief, man. Mine must be like water.
Nice. But yeah, both men, like I said, were bloody messes. In the end, Triple H goes for a pedigree on the steel steps. They brought the bottom of it into the ring, the base. He goes for a pedigree on the steel steps, but Batista counters into a spine buster on them layer steps. Triple H then grabs his sledgehammer, but he doesn't get to use it as Batista picks him up and nails a Batista bomb to win and retain the world title.
I love that part, by the way. Like,
yeah.
I was like, he pulled the trigger first. It's like, wow, that was great, man.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, because he had it in his hand while Batista was picking him up for the Batista bomb. And, if this wasn't 15 years in the past, I would have been sitting there like, my God, Triple H he's going to nail him. He's going to win. It's it. He's not going to hit it. And then he pulled it off. Batista wins. Yes. The end of the match. Me and Uncle Dave both gave this 4.5 stars. What say you?
I said 4, but if I'm judging it as a Hell in a Cell, I thought it was a solid 5. But, I'm going to try to keep it just as a match as a whole. So I said solid 4. Probably one of the better Hell in a Cells ever, by the way. Got to say that.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to just hand out a 5 for that reason.
Yeah. Well, and they didn't leave the cell. They didn't have to. It was it made sense.
That's what Kevin Nash said.
Yeah. Where he said, they're like, well, what are you doing outside the cell? He said, nothing. Triple H has been dodging me for months. As a storyline, I got him in a cage. We're not going anywhere. We're going to have a match in a cage.
And when you put it like that, good grief, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yes. That's the whole point. Not everybody has to take a big old bump off the side of the cell. Because if everybody does it, then who cares, bro? For the pay-per-view rating, cagematch.net voters voted this 9.16 out of 10. I rated it an 8.5 as a whole. What say you?
I'm going to go with you. I think I think solid B+.
Yeah.
I think that horrible Lil Garcia Viscera segment drove it down for me. And yeah. I mean, other than that, big points off for that because that was not needed. That could have been on Raw. I mean, that shouldn't have happened at all, but that could have been on Raw.
Yeah, I fully agree. That was dumb. It was garbage.
My only reasoning for not giving the main event a 5, by the way, is because there was better Hell in a Cell 1 year prior, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And you can't hand out a 5 when that was a solid 5. Maybe we'll get to that one day, but yeah.
Oh, we definitely will, for sure. Yeah, because I want to rewatch that one.
That one is one of the greatest wrestling matches ever that just happened to be in a cell, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, totally. Absolutely. To wrap up the show here real quick, immediately after the Hell in a Cell match is an exclusive to WWE home video. Triple H.
Coliseum home video, pal.
Gosh. Triple H and Batista and Ric Flair encounter each other backstage, and they put their differences aside and embrace, and Triple H quipped, "This is evolution, baby." After that, Batista was drafted to the SmackDown brand, thus ending his feud with Triple H. So They trade over Cena for Batista. Not bad.
I honestly think at that time period, everybody won in that. Because I think Batista's best stuff was on SmackDown. So,
yeah.
I mean, next to The Rock in the early years, I think Batista was SmackDown, honestly.
Yeah. It was good stuff, man. Batista went on to have great feuds. Cena had great feuds on Raw. It all kind of worked out. Speaking of Cena, the feud between Cena and Jericho continued following Vengeance. Eric Bischoff vowed to make John Cena's stint on Raw difficult by hand-picking Chris Jericho to take the WWE title off of Cena at SummerSlam. But obviously, not obviously, but, for those of you that don't know, it didn't happen. Jericho did not win. So, we're not going to dive deep into what happened with their feud and all that, but yeah. So we'll get to it at a different date. You and I need to pencil in SummerSlam 2005 for a future show. Maybe.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Maybe
SummerSlam's right around the corner, yeah.
Yep. Hopefully SummerSlam will have fans, but we'll see.
Dude, I don't want to talk about that. I was supposed to go.
Gosh, yeah, I know.
I'm definitely going to go to Cleveland, though. No offense.
Oh, well, hell yeah. After a successful tag team win at Backlash, in which Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan defeated Muhammad Hassan and Daivari, Michaels and Hogan were placed in a tag team match, playa, against Kurt Angle and Carlito on an episode of Raw. Random.
Was that a team?
Yeah. The match saw Hogan and Michaels pick up the victory. During the post-match pose down, however, Michaels super kicked Hogan, which knocked Hogan to the ground and turning Michaels heel for the first time since returning to the company in 2002. The following week, Michaels challenged Hogan to a match at SummerSlam, which Hogan accepted, and then they went on to have their cartoon match at SummerSlam. You and I can't wait to talk about that match with you sometime, man, because it was a spectacle when Shawn Michaels got in the ring with Hulk Hogan. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's a nice word to use.
Yeah. But the final thing here, the feud between Edge and Kane came to an end when Edge was put in an angle with Matt Hardy. On the July 11th episode of Raw, Matt Hardy, who at the time was unemployed by WWE, made a surprise appearance interfering in a match between Edge and Kane. The following week, as both Edge and Lita were walking towards the ring before a scheduled steel cage match against Kane, Hardy attacked Edge from behind. Okay, so I guess the Hardy stuff didn't start until, a couple weeks after.
Yeah, I thought it was before. I could have swore it was before. Sorry. I could have swore it was after, and then I was convinced that he showed up at the wedding. I
guess not. So, because that was Kane. Wasn't that the one where Kane popped up from the ring?
Yeah.
And Tombstone, the priest?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was lovely. Anyway.
Hey, a guy from hell, Tombstone's a priest? How does that not make sense, though?
Yeah. On the August 1st episode of Raw, I know. On the August 1st episode of Raw, Vince McMahon officially announced Hardy's return to the WWE, adding that Hardy would face Edge at SummerSlam. The following week, Hardy made his in-ring return, defeating Gene Snitsky, and that was his fault. After the victory, Hardy was attacked by Edge and was carried backstage. In retaliation, Hardy counterattacked Edge in the locker room. Well, this would go on, and Matt would be, the spurned lover, the wronged guy, fired, and all that. Comes back, and then SummerSlam happened, and that. I don't know, man. Some things don't make sense to me, but whatever. They were building Edge, I guess. But, man, yeah, so this was Vengeance 2005. All in all, I thought it was a great match. Good choice by you. Next week, we're officially